welcome back to another episode with the Mighty Sergeant Riley. And today we are going to be having a rather serious talk with depression. This sounds a little morbid, or rather, a lot of people don't consider about depression. So I'm just making this quick little video with some facts, some information, and possibly help you guys understand a little bit about depression. And if you know somebody with it, possibly help them through it. Alright, so we're just going to list through all these things I wrote down here. What is depression? Let's see. Depression, mood, most of the day is depressed, as depression is. That does not mean always depressed, sad, etc., etc., etc. It can be throughout the day, night, anytime. Mostly in the mornings, can be worse, depending on the person's symptoms. Depressed people often are. All these facts are not 100% accurate. They are just something I found. I just wrote them all down. Some of them make sense, some of them don't. So if they don't sound right, they're probably not right. But that does not mean they are not. Most people that are watching this, I also want you to remember that just because these are symptoms does not mean that if you have them, you are depressed. Seriously, don't overreact, because a lot of people overreact over the smallest little things, and I don't want that. Back to where we're tired, severe tiredness, loss of energy throughout the day, every day, for long periods of time, doesn't matter how long, usually a long while. Feeling of worthlessness or guilt every single day for long periods of time. I'll get to that later. Yes, that is a very big problem with depression. I know that very well myself. It is literally the worst feeling in the world. There's nothing worse than feeling you're absolute garbage, that you're worth absolute nothing and no one cares about you. That does not mean it's true, but you yourself feel that is what it is. Okay, on to the next one. Impaired concentration and indecisiveness. I don't think that's true. No, not at all. I can see that being for other things, but impaired concentration? No. Indecisiveness? Maybe. But that's more of a shopping problem. Possibly. I'm not going to completely debunk that one. Not able to sleep. Too much sleep. Insomnia, or hypersomnia as they are called. Yeah, I believe that. I have that problem. I will not deny it. Literally, insomnia is the worst thing in the world. You will sleep 5 minutes, you'll turn, you're awake. Or you'll sleep for an hour, and you feel like you've got no sleep at all. You're literally tired all day long. I have suffered that really bad sometimes. Hypersomnia, you're sleeping too much. Great for the weekends. Awesome. The rest of the week? No. Hypersomnia is... sounds awesome, but it's not. You'll literally sleep the day away. You do not want to sleep the day away. You'll miss out on a lot of stuff. Less interest in activities that you used to like, highly enjoyed, or love. Yeah, that's true. I don't know that one personally myself too much, but that's what the website says. But I can see that. Thoughts of death, suicide, killing yourself, harming yourself. Yeah, that's there. Most likely. I went through that. Got over it. Not a problem. A lot of people do not get past that, which is unfortunate. There are many ways around it to help deal with it. Medications, friends, talking, parties, such. Parties, not so much. Just gotta get social. That helps get past that problem. Weight gain and loss, I suppose. If you're depressed, you'll eat too much, or you'll eat too little. I have some of that, I guess. But that's mostly eating disorders, which are, from what I consider, are linked to depression. Symptoms. Not all people are the same when it comes to depression. There are many, many, many forms of it, and many different severities of it. Like on a scale of 1 to 10, a lot of people could be 1, 2, 5, some people 10. Same can be said for everything when it comes to depression. There's always scales of it, severities of it, and different categories of it. tired, loss of energy. A lot of the stuff just dates back to what is depression. Feelings, guilt, helplessness, worthlessness. Nobody can help you. Yeah, that's a big symptom right there. Easily helped to deal with. You just have to open up, ask somebody for help, talk to somebody. Feelings, persistent sad, anxious, or empty feelings. That is a huge part of it. Like, literally, have people with depression, or at least my form of it, have pretty much no feelings most of the time, just empty. Kind of like cracking open an egg and it's fine, it's empty. Yeah, it's a worthless egg. If I were having breakfast anyway. That can be a little harder to deal with. It is dealable, mostly by the same things I'll be going over closer to the end of the video, or throughout it if I decide to break from that piece of garbage script that I came up with. Sleep, insomnia, hypersomnia. Yeah, we already went over that. Irritability, restlessness. Is that really depression? I don't know. I'm not going to completely debunk it. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not. Lack of interest, activities. We already went over that. Loss of pleasure in life. That is absolute massive stone right there, just sitting on top of their head. Literally, that is the worst thing that comes up with depression. You lose all interest in life. You got your absolute nothing to do. You got no goals in life. Everything you want to do, you're like, no. Find something. It's easy to deal with that. You gotta find something. Find anything. Hobby, movie, TV, books, friends, parties. Find a new job. Travel the world. Become an explorer. Scientist. Something. Not easy, but it's deal withable. Just talk with somebody. Always gotta talk with somebody. That's the biggest thing when it comes to depression. Always talk to somebody. It can help big time. Overeating, loss of appetite. Yeah, we already went over that. Aches and pains that treatment cannot fix. Yeah, possible. With that said, that is also not depression at the same time, because a lot of people have this mentality that if they feel something, they have to go to the doctor. A lot of people overreact over the smallest things when they hear somebody else talk about something. So if I were to describe depression as having leg problems, and you find out you have a leg problem, or you may think you have a leg problem, you're instantaneously going to go run to the doctor and look for a way to fix your depression. You don't have a depression. You probably just have nothing. A lot of symptoms, a lot of people suffer, are not actually symptoms. They are all a figment of the imagination. Literally. There are something, it's called mob mentality. If a person or a lot of people suffer of the same problems or similar problems, they will then believe they have the problems. Not a good thing. Hard to get around that, because once you believe you have it, you will think you have it. That also being said, that mob mentality can actually sometimes cure people of things they have. Scientific evidence does not actually cover that, but that doesn't matter because it works. The power of the mind fixes everything, supposedly. If you believe it to be true, it sometimes can't be true. A lot of times it's false, but I'll just leave it at that. I don't want to ramble on too much about that. Thoughts, actions that indicate suicide. Yeah, that's a big one. Sometimes hard to recognize. That's a huge problem. The only way to deal with that is to talk to somebody. Really. Try to get completely past that. You don't want to go near that. For those of you that know somebody that has that problem, talk to them, socialize with them, get friends, talk to them, do interventions, stuff like that. Look for something they enjoy in life, something they don't want to give up. If they have that, oftentimes, depending on the severity of it, they won't have something like that. So find something for them. Something they will enjoy, something they will continue to look forward to. That's the best way to deal with that. That's how I got past that stage. believe it or not. For those of you that actually know me, please disregard all of this because I don't need you guys going on about this to me afterward. Seriously. I'm past most of all this. It's not that bad. Alright, so depression in childhood. This is affected by a lot of stuff. Most of it I've gone through, some of it anyway. A lot of it can be easily dealt with or hard dealt with. So let's just go over this. Can be gotten from many different things that affect life. Environments such as parents. Now, that can come in a lot of forms. Abuse, breakups, neglect, a lot of things like that. Moving houses, schools, different live environments, countries, just moving in general has a chance to give a child depression, or may not, depending on the environment, what they are going to, or what they are leaving. For instance, they'll be leaving all their friends behind, relatives they may or may not have contact with a lot, all the things that they really enjoyed, depending on how the environment was, that they really enjoy about the place. Like, they had parks, biking paths, a lot of friends, a lot of parties and stuff, a lot of that going on when they were younger. It would be very hard for them to deal with when moving. So try to talk to them a lot when it comes to moving. Try to explain a lot what they can do. They can keep in contact with friends. You don't want them to sever all those ties. It's not good for their mental health. Seriously, I know that. Loss of loved ones. That is a big one. The only way to really help with this one is to talk with them a lot, to explain everything, talk with stories, everything like that. Yeah, it'll hurt them for a little while, but the more you lean them into it and whatnot, it kind of helps. It really does. Changing schools, that goes in with the moving. They lose all their friends, their family, not their family, yeah, all their friends, their teachers, or all that stuff. They have all their grades and everything. Divorces, that goes with the parents section. That is really hard on the kids, teenagers especially and whatnot. There's not really a way to deal with that. Nope, not easily anyway. Talking and whatnot helps a lot. They'll probably not like you very much for it. Or maybe they will understand it, depending on the situation. Hard to say. Every situation is different. Outside interference. That is possible. Bullies, for example, are something of an interference. Bullies are, from what I would say, are people suffering from depression or just trying to get out and make friends. Not always the case. It's sometimes the case. Only way to deal with that, stand up for yourself, fight them if it's necessary. It may not be good in the short term, but sometimes you may make a friend out of it. I have personally done that a few times. Some people that actually know me may not think I have fought. I have a few times. Not much. Just enough the boys stopped, and later on, it may not be the same day, same hour. Eventually down the road, you become friends with them, which is awesome. The only way to really deal with a bully is, believe it or not, make friends with them. Talk with them. You don't have to be mean to them. They may be mean to you, but it doesn't always necessarily they want to be. Or sometimes they do. And I think for that a second. Just talk with them. That's the best way to go with anything. Talk. It can deal with a lot of stuff. Let's see. Where was I? Oh yeah, teen depression. Very much the same as child depression. The only thing is, it affects them more because they've built up a life in their area, unless they've moved multiple times. Breakups and whatnot is with their girlfriends, boyfriends, whatever, however they swing, fine. That is a way for them to get depression. It may not be severe, may not be anything, may only last like a week or two. Awesome. Talk about it, get over it. Try to talk with your friends, have fun. Not too much fun. Too much fun is never good. Yeah, it's pretty much the same as childhood, but more elements are thrown into it because their age, their understanding of knowledge, everything they have from beforehand is more advanced. So if something affects them bad when they're a kid, it's definitely going to hit them when they're older, or maybe not. It all depends on how they grow. How common is depression? Very common. Millions and millions of people across the world have it. Now that doesn't mean they all have severe or mild. It's just somewhere in that 1 to 10 range. A lot of people have one or even none. If you have none, awesome. Because depression sucks. Seriously, it sucks. It's not fun. Warning signs of suicide. Good to know. It really is. Thoughts and talks of death, suicide are an obvious sign. Now, talking of death doesn't always mean that they're suicidal. Maybe they're just trying to get past fears. Maybe they're trying to get past somebody else who's on the deathbed, etc., etc. A lot of things can come from that. Self-harm or harm others. Yeah, not good. Don't do it. Seriously. Do not harm yourself. Or others for that matter. If you know somebody has any of these symptoms, talk to them. Always talk to them. This is the best way to deal with it. And if they are seriously going to hurt themselves within immediate time, lock them in a room with nothing in it, with spongy walls. Leave them for a couple hours, pull them out. If they still think about it, shove them back in. That'll deal with it. A lot of times when you're suicidal, when you come with these symptoms, it's mostly spur of the moment. I would know that. Bridges. Keep them away from bridges. Seriously. Bridges? No good. Anyway, when it comes to this, it's mostly temporary for the first time or however many times. They'll think about it, may actually try to do it, but if there's something to stop them for a long period of time from doing it, chances are they won't do it. They may or may not do it. Not guaranteed, but that's the best way to deal with that. Different types of depression include, there's multiple different types, and there's even subtypes after that. Major, that's the really bad stuff. That's like on the 10 scale I have, is like 8 up. Nothing. Hard to deal with. Medications, probably the best way to do it. Medications, though, not always the best way to deal with something. Doctors are very pill pushy these days. The pills they have to help with depression, depending on your severity of it, it's not worth it. It's just better to talk with people. The psychiatrist is a very good idea. They'll always listen. If they don't, talk to somebody else. If not me, I can talk to anybody. I have always open ears to hear somebody out, and I may or may not be able to help them. If I can't help them, psychiatrist may be a better way to go. It does not sound cool, but at least it's something. If not psychiatrist, ask your friends to talk to you or your family members. It's hard. I understand. Seriously, I do understand this. But you have to talk to somebody. It's the only way you can push forward. There's chronic. It just comes and goes. It's kind of like having a nose itch. Gone. A minute or two later, it's back, gone. Just like that. There's bipolar. I don't know a whole lot about this. I did a little bit of research. It doesn't sound good. There's multiple stages of it. So if you want to know more about bipolar, Google it. Multiple different websites, a lot of different help groups for it. There's seasonal. This is my favorite one. Not in terms of actually wanting it or anything, but I understand it very well. Seasonal is exactly what it sounds like. Summertime. Some people like summer, some people hate it. Wintertime. A lot of people hate it. And some people like it. Best way to deal with this? Leave. Seriously. Go somewhere warm. South. North. Wherever. If you don't like a season that you're living in, make arrangements that you can leave the area for that time of the year and work somewhere else, or live, for that matter. That is my best way to deal with it. Not that I have it, but that's the best way I can come up with to deal with it. They're psychotic. No. I can see a lot of horror movies with this title. That's a hard one to deal with. Medications. May not be the best sometimes, but medications strongly for this one. Not sure what that one's called, so I'm just going to skip over that one. They're substance induced, as it sounds. Medicines, drugs. Get off that garbage. That's the only way you're going to get past that. And if you're off it and that's when you get it, you're going to have to talk to a doctor. They'll help you with that one. I do not know anything about that one other than that. Types of treatment. That's not what that was. Another type of, these are the subtypes. There's treatment resistant. Depression that is bad enough that it will never be treated by medicine or other treatments. My only best guess for that one, all steps above that I have already mentioned throughout this video. Talk to friends, family, psychiatrist. Find something interesting to do. Movies, books, TV shows. Traveling the world. Always fun. Exploring. Become a scientist. Not easy. Become a scientist. A doctor. Become something that you would find interesting, and if you don't know anything that's interesting, go around and try everything. You never know. You might just become you might become the Einstein of a whole new thing that you never knew was possible. Seriously, a lot of people with depression or mental illnesses, they actually have a strong point that unless they look for it, they'll never find it. And when they do find it, they're like the Einstein of their whole section, which is totally awesome. Medications don't really help with them, but with smarts, it kind of, I'm just going to leave that whole spot alone. I might be wrong with that. What does it show up with? Depression comes with a lot of different illnesses, possibly. I could be wrong. Like I said, most of this information is kind of sketchy. I don't like sketchy, but I kind of had no choice but to put it in there. Anxiety. Possible? I don't really think so. Obsessive compulsive disorder. Maybe. That's more a cleaning nut. And I know of a lot of them. And if you're one of those people that I know that are for cleaning nuts and you're watching this, I'm sorry. But it's true. You're a nut. On to the next one. Phobias. Fears. Spiders. Planes. Heights. Bridges. A lot of weird things. A lot of people afraid of the weirdest of things. Some people don't like technology. I have yet to come across one. That one is... I really don't think that one's real. No. If it is real, and you have that one, I'm sorry. I really don't think that's real. As for the people that actually research and put that on the websites I read, I think you're fools. Eating disorders. Yeah, that is definitely real. That is a big problem with a lot of people. Millions of people have this. Talk to friends. Talk to somebody. Talk to a doctor. Get out of that. You don't want eating disorders. You don't want to eat too much. You don't want to eat too little. Not good for your health. And frankly, you worry your friends too much with this. And if you're doing it because you think you look cool, you don't. Seriously. I'll slap you. Boom. I slap you. Multiple times so I have to. If that knocks sense into you, I will slap you. And if you need me to slap you, come over to my place. I will do it for you. For free. And then I will give you a very stern talking to until you are out of that. On with the next one. Help with depression. We were talking about this the whole time. I really should stick to scripts sometimes. Better yet, I should learn how to do better scripts. Alright, talk to someone. Or a doctor, friends, family. Best way to deal with everything is to talk. Even war can be solved with talks. That's why we have diplomats. Or those moron politics. Joy. Everyone hates politicians. Seriously. They are not people. Friends, family, blah, blah. Games, hobbies, sports, movies, TV shows, all in the hobby category. That can help a lot. Sometimes it don't, so you move on to a new category. Reading books. That's also hobbies. Parties. Parties can help a lot with depression. Some. Not all. Some people need a party to help them out. Being antisocial does not help your depression. So being out in public places, talking to people, socializing, partying, whatever, just stay away from stupid stuff like drugs, and you should be a little better. Travel. Travel is always good. New scenery, different places, looking at new things, somehow, for some reason, helps a lot. I can't explain it, but it helps. You should try it. Explore places you have not yet been to in the travel. Look for a cave. Explore it. As long as it's safe. Travel pairs. Never alone. Look for things you have not yet done, tried, or would like to try. Big time. Do it. You will find your calling. Do it. Seriously. You never know what you will discover that you can do that other people cannot. Like, your friends may think you can't do knitting, and you try knitting for the first time, and you can knit a whole sweater in like an hour. Congratulations. You're a knitting expert for some reason. A lot of people have these neat little things that they can do that they had not known that they could do until they try. You gotta try something to understand it. People with depression will often have a tendency to be antisocial. That is true, and this is a list I came up with from my experiences. Of course, it's not complete, or may not be accurate from a doctor's standpoint, but it helps. Antisocial depressed people, talk to them. They may not talk to you at first, but they really want to talk to somebody. Always. They're always looking and waiting. They're always just looking from the back of the room, the front of the room, looking at people socializing and having fun. They want to get in on it. Just because they look like they don't want to doesn't mean they don't. A lot of times you have to talk to them to find out that they really want to be friends with somebody, but they just don't have the courage to do it. That's what antisocials are. People with depression always want to talk. I do. Maybe not other forms of depression do, but I sure do. Helps with, may not want to make the first move, so you have to talk to them. You gotta break the ice. Once you're talking, you're friends for life. They will want to make friends. That is true. They can't make friends because they don't want to. Not so much. They want to make friends. Be friends with them. Help them out. Who knows? Maybe become really good friends. Bullies tend to suffer from depression. I would say that's true. They're not bullies because they enjoy it. No, maybe I should rephrase this whole thing. Oh wait, there was a note I've rephrased that. Some bullies, not all, are depressed. That's true. That is very true. Talk to them, be friends with them. That helps. Most bullies do not bully because they enjoy it. They're doing it because they think that's how they can get in and talk to people and make friends. Unfortunately, it has the complete opposite effect, unbeknownst to them. And sometimes you have to fight them to find that out. Depressed people have a harder time in social places, such as parties. That is true. Yeah. Help them out. If they seem to be antisocial, talk to them, make friends, introduce them to people, and spread them out. God help them. You just can't leave them alone. After all, where would this world be without friends? Nowheres. Humanity's greatest achievements were done because everyone could band together and help each other. Or in some places, slavery and such, but that's just garbage. Don't ever try that. And don't ever make excuses for that. It's garbage. And I believe we'll end this here. If you guys have any other topics in the future, be sure to write in the comments section below. The sergeant will get to anything you have, and I will even do the research. In this case, I probably should have done a little bit more, but half hour is good enough. Alright, I'll see you all in the next episode. and hopefully we'll have an interesting talk.